What if everything you believed about luxury was a lie? Condolences to everyone who spent their life savings on designer goods, believing a logo stitched in gold thread would somehow elevate their status in the world, because now the curtain has been lifted, and it wasn't the West that pulled it back, it was China. In a bold move amid escalating trade tensions with the US, Chinese social media has been flooded with shocking footage from inside factories that produce luxury goods. Dior, Chanel, Birkin bags all revealed to be manufactured in China, despite being branded made in France or made in Italy.
Louis Vuitton and Chanel will hate me if I tell you this, revealing the secret behind big brand. Let's go! Hang Long from Singapore, or Bodin Jurars for their landscape from France. Tannery Haas, Italian Tannery, Fight. Labri Tecna from Italy. Guess where I found all those secret suppliers?
Boutique price $23,000, but Guangzhou price $600. Let's expose luxury's dirty pricing secret.
Some say as long as there's a tag saying made in China, the bag can never be luxury. However, in fact, more than 80% of the luxury bags in the world are made in China. But those luxury brands just won't acknowledge that. They take almost finished bags from China factories back to their own countries and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something like that. That way, the bags will appear at their boutiques as made in Italy or made in France. Imagine that you have Hermès bag and suddenly the label on it changed from made in France into made in China, while everything else like leathers, zippers, and hardware remain the same. Do you suddenly feel that your bag is not as luxury as before? If you do, that means you have been misled and poisoned by the market campaign of hardware.
These aren't rumors, they're videos posted by factory workers, complete with contract orders, packaging labels, and production costs. $2,000 bags made for $50 or less. The United States may be targeting China with economic warfare, but China just turned the spotlight right back. Under the guise of transparency, they're deconstructing the global illusion of luxury. This is no longer just about bags and shoes. This is information warfare, economic psyops. Let's break it down. In response to president-led tariffs on Chinese imports, a staggering 145% general tariff on goods from China, a targeted 90% tariff on items under $800 clearly aimed at Shine, AliExpress, and fast fashion, China didn't just retaliate with 125% tariffs on US exports. China has weaponized the truth. Chinese influencers are now leaking the origins of designer goods. They're naming factories, revealing costs, providing direct contact info to manufacturers offering luxury-level items without the luxury price and without the logo. What we're seeing isn't just transparency, it's economic sabotage, a massive discrediting operation targeting the entire Western luxury model, built on illusion, brand worship, and false narratives of craftsmanship.
One bag costs $6,150 from the boutique, the other $300 made by me.
The reality? Luxury has become a marketing shell. You're not paying for quality, you're paying for a story, and China is ripping that story apart. British fashion influencer Lydia Millen has interestingly announced a sale of all her designer handbags prior to the China trade wars, sparking a rebranding move in the public to reach out for more exquisite fashion out there, which was such a clever move.
I'm selling my Hermès bags, and not to be dramatic, but it genuinely feels like I'm breaking up with a boyfriend. A shock to some perhaps, but for those who truly know me, they know that this moment has been a long time coming. I started sharing my life online nearly 15 years ago. In those early days, I worked 4 jobs alongside studying for my degree, saving every penny to buy pre-loved Mulberry bags, small trophies that symbolised my own successes, especially in the moments when that recognition wasn't always found elsewhere. Soon enough, I began sharing my love of luxury handbags and fashion through my videos, and quite literally, my life changed overnight. I would spend hours scouring the internet and vintage boutiques for the best pieces within my budget. I'd wait for sales to secure the latest trends at a fraction of the price. I literal Bicester Village for last season's must-have. I documented it all, taking my audience along for the journey. As my business grew, I was able to buy pieces brand new, and before long, Mulberry was replaced by Dior by Chanel, and eventually, I found myself playing the Hermès game.
I recently sold all of my Hermès bags. Some of them sold before they even went online, and the rest of them sold in the first 10 minutes. I was gobsmacked.
4% tariff.
Brands like Ralph Lauren, Michael Kors, Coach Even Chanel and Dior are now under fire for outsourcing to the same factories that produce and branded knockoffs, and now those factories are selling directly to consumers. Why buy a $4,000 sofa when you can get it from the same Chinese source for $400? The same makeup, the same brushes, the same handbags.
Does anybody have the Louis Vuitton from China and a Louis Vuitton that they got at the designer store? Because I need to see a side-by-side. I have to know if there's any discrepancies or any differences, or is it the exact same thing? Because I'm starting to feel ripped right now. I got a closet full of this shit.
This campaign isn't just about showing receipts, it's about humbling the Western economy, crippling a key pillar of American consumerism, the belief that more expensive means more valuable.
Chinese government has removed the confidentiality clause with luxury brands and Chinese manufacturers. So now what's happening is all the Chinese producers are coming out and they're telling the world that they make all the stuff that we think is luxury and pay an ultimate price for. They're even adding their own URLs and where to buy directly from them instead of going to these so-called luxury brands. So apparently everything is being made in China and then they're shipped to Europe for the finishing touches. So what they're saying is, this is our work, we made this. Hermès just put their name on it and added 5 zeros.
And while Americans scroll past these viral revelations shocked, confused, Europeans ask, you didn't already know? Because this has always been the dirty little secret, and now it's out.
A Birkin in Turkey?
In this new economy, authenticity is crumbling. A logo is no longer a status symbol. It's a signal that you may have been played. Some consumers will still chase the brand, the prestige, the illusion. But others are waking up, questioning everything, choosing to see the system for what it is, a simulation of value, one now being exposed, factory by factory, post by post. The luxury war has begun, and it's being fought with truth. This isn't just China versus America, it's illusion versus exposure, and now you have to choose, stay enchanted or unplug.
If you're upping those prices, are people still going to buy this stuff, or are they going to wait until this is made in America?
This is not going to be made in America. Ever. Never.
Never? Yeah, there won't be a time where there's a EU-style wholesale market in the States?
I mean, we can go ahead and open a wholesale market, but the supplies are still going to be coming from China. We have that, actually. There's a EU market in Mexico. There's an EU market in Dubai. In, I think, maybe like 15 different countries now. There's EU wholesale market, and everything comes from China.
Because the raw supplies are still made in China?
Yeah, because China makes everything from parts to finished products. I mean, of course, you can also just import machineries into your own country and start making it in your own country. But like I said, there's no skilled labor. You'd still be missing different types of materials if you want to make a finished product. And it's just so costly to open your own factory if you have to import everything from another country.
TikTok. As the platform, you can permanently disable my accounts because you have support from the capital. But I have the support from the people all over the world. The people who are now already awakened, who now refuse to be brainwashed any longer by the capital, who now refuse to be ripped off any longer by the capital. From now on, I will register 1,000 new accounts. And even if you disable all of them, I will register the 1,001st account. I will continue to spill the tea of the cost of bags and continue to make great bags of right prices for all the people around the world. Chinese people are not afraid of hard work and sacrifice. Chinese people are not afraid of oppression and tyranny. Otherwise, we wouldn't have stood up from the more than 100 years of foreign invasion, oppression, and colonization from 1840 to 1945. Otherwise, we wouldn't have become what we are now. And in the future, China will take lead in the world, not by ripping off other peoples and countries, but by honestly and equally developing with other countries and peoples.
Do you think China is exposing the truth about luxury brands out of transparency? Or is this all part of a calculated economic move? If you're questioning everything they told you about value, branding, and global power, hit that subscribe button and follow the trail with me.